So today we're with Aiden Harper, who runs a YouTube channel called the Aiden Project. Aiden, can you tell us what is the Aiden Project?
It's my self-build, basically. It's the Aiden Project, but it contains many projects. I originally got a contractor to shell the property. I've done a bit more since then, like in terms of installing the bifolds and windows and stuff. I've done the drainage myself. I had to get rid of him because it was just turning into a bit of a nightmare where I was doing too much work, and you don't really want to pay someone and then do the work yourself.
We have this with a lot of self-builders like yourself, where at the start you think, oh, I need to get that person in, and then you think, actually, I can see the job now, and I think I can do it myself.
It's all about confidence, I think.
Yeah,
and as long as you do enough research.
Now, I love a pun, so I love the Aiden Project. So you haven't got any domes here or any any vegetation.
But that's the play that I went for in terms of the channel.
Nice.
That's the road. That door there, that's not the front door. So
I did wonder when I turned up. I thought, this is a problem. I don't know where to. I thought that can't. There's no letterbox. So I think, so where do I knock?
That's the plant room there. But yeah, the main entrance is actually around here.
Right. Okay. No, I'm glad you got a plant room. Roger will love to see that. He loves a plant room.
Yeah. It had Class Q, so that's permitted development. And then as soon as we bought it, we got full planning permission to do park conversion. We had to rebuild one side, so this main section and that section there, that replicates the original, and then we had an extension. Then at some point everything went a bit wrong, so we had to get new planning permission to do a new build. This looks exactly the same as it would have done had it have been a conversion. Permitted development in terms of barn conversions, as long as it meets a certain criteria, you can convert it into a residential property, but you can't change it too much. So that's why we went full planning permission, so we could change it a little bit and extend it a little bit more.
So how much is left of the original barn? Nothing.
You see just over here, so these are the metal trusses. So I've got 2 left over. I've put probably 4 back in.
Right.
Because I wanted to like respect the original barn.
Yeah.
So the original barn, it was blockwork and asbestos, and I'm going to clad that so it almost looks similar. I've got corrugated cement roof just there, so that was on the original barn. And features like this, the concrete lintel, that was exactly the same on the original barn, and it was brick finish. See, this is like a tidy, polished version, if you like. What
was the problem you were having with windows? I saw that in one of your episodes.
These particular windows, because they're French windows, so I needed both to open. That's because of like fire requirements. They wouldn't close, so they was hitting the cam keeps when they was closing. So the fabricator, they've made them in such a way where the tolerances, they was too tight.
Yeah.
By the time you got the glass in, it stretched that frame a tiny bit, and then it just wouldn't close. So I'm having to adapt them at the moment because they've already remade them twice.
Do you have any trouble getting people to deliver stuff here? I was amazed at the amount of roads that are barely wide enough for me to get my car down.
It depends which way they come. So we had the borehole done originally, and they had to bring like a big rig on a trailer, and they came the wrong way through the country lanes as well. But there are bigger roads, so you need to just skirt around, and any big lorries, they're not allowed a certain way anyway, so that they'll come down the big roads.
Would you ever have a go at brickwork, just looking at this wall here?
Yeah, I drove my van through it. No, I didn't.
You want to be careful. It looks like it's leaning towards you, this wall.
Well, this one does, yeah.
I
mean, that's one of them old piers that they put in. I mean, one of the first things we done was building this wall. So I dug the foundations for that and designed it, and I got a bricklayer to do that. But the other side is blockwork. So you see where these headers are, they go all the way through onto the other side. But he stopped it here, and it didn't used to touch. This wall didn't touch this. There was a gap, but now it touches. So it looks like it's coming.
Yeah, it's got a bit of support there now.
But yeah, originally, so this wall here, it was complete. But what happens when the original builder was here, because that side of the building is higher than this side, and he excavated everything so it was completely flat. And then obviously the bricklayers came in, but what ended up happening was they effectively made a bowl underneath in the clay, so all the water was coming through underneath and it was like a swimming pool. So after they left, I had to dig out the whole property all the way around and tank everything. And because I had to dig this out so low and that was so high, I just took the wall down just in case, because otherwise it might have fell on us when we was obviously dealing with it. So this is essentially the bedroom wing. All the ceilings are going to be vaulted. It's only one single level, or split level if you like. And I've had my insulation for a year and a half, just because prices are going up so quick.
So you got beam and block here?
Block and beam floor, yeah. There was a bit of an error on that. I'll show you just down here. So originally the supplier, they'd done the plan, and...
Was it Millbank?
I don't know actually.
Oh, okay.
But they assumed that underneath here there was like a sleeper wall, because there's a foundation that runs directly there to tie both sides in, and so there should be 3 beams there, but there's not. So I've got 2 more, so I'll be installing them myself. So that would be a little bit of brickwork that I need to do underneath.
Yeah.
But it won't be on show, so it'll be fun.
All of these things make great videos for your channel, don't they? Anything
Exactly,
you can do. When you take on a project, do you use tutorials on YouTube or?
I watch Skill Builder.
That sounded like a leading question, wasn't it? Are there any particular channels you might like to follow?
Just all of them.
Yeah.
What I tend to do is I'll watch several videos, kind of take the average of that information and then apply it in your own situation. Over the progression of the project, there's things that I'll pick up that I can apply to something else.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily need to research a particular thing, but I like doing loads of research anyway. We're only having 3 bedrooms. So originally when we bought it, this was carved up into several tiny rooms, but we didn't really need that. So the whole point in having a barn type conversion build is the benefit of all the open spaces.
We're going to go into Kevin McLeod one. That's very dramatic.
Because all the ceilings are going to be vaulted. There's only one section that's not. These are the original trusses that I put back in, and they went across the window. So I cut that section out and then re-welded it. Originally, the heritage on the Class Q application insisted that they had Crittle windows in here.
Oh God, don't get me onto Crittle windows.
They're like thousands. I'd have to sell both kidneys for that.
At our house we've got, so the house is built in 1834. The Crittle windows were installed in the 60s. They didn't say you can't take them out. They said there aren't many Crittle windows about now. We want you to keep them. I can understand why you'd want to keep the original house, but something that's been fitted at a later date, you think...
It's just not efficient.
No, it's crazy.
Well. Yeah, and the new ones are very expensive. So yeah, on the new application, you can see I've got Crittle style windows.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got back spacer bars in there, and then I've got stick-on aluminium bars that'll go there. But it kind of goes with the theme of the whole thing. Like I said, I wanted to respect the original barn. So like the metal trusses have gone back in. The windows that were in that section originally, they wasn't Crittle, but they was that kind of style. So this space is going to be divided into 3. So the plant room, there's going to be a wall that comes across here. So that's why I've got them doors.
Yeah.
I've got my electric there and my water running already. And I'm going to have an MVHR system.
Oh yeah.
With exposed ducting. So I know a lot of people hide it in the ceilings and under floors as well.
Did you see the one we did at Robin's house? The MVHR?
Yeah.
That was a Lindab system.
So I'll have my kitchen here.
Yeah.
Now, I'm planning on making my kitchen.
Yeah?
Is that a bad idea?
Now, why would you make your kitchen? When you say you're going to make your kitchen, but what, including worktops?
I'd like to make concrete worktops.
Yeah.
I don't think the other half is going to have that. But yeah, I mean, the units itself, I want to make, because I'd like them types of kitchens, like the handmade ones, but to pay someone to do that, that's, you're probably looking at 25, 30 grand.
We just had our kitchen done, and it is eye-wateringly expensive.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that on your channel, you like a little bit of the jeopardy. So I can see a video called "I've installed my own kitchen. Is this a mistake?"
I've done
Yeah,
it wrong.
shamelessly clickbaity title in there.
Yeah, it's a must.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
And then, so this will be a TV room, but I'm going to put a ceiling in this bit, so I can have storage up here.
Yeah.
So that's where I'll put the MVHR unit.
Oh, right, okay.
Because that's north facing that wall,
Yeah.
so I can have the ducting going outside. Because I'm going for a certain level of air tightness,
Yeah.
how I was going to finish the walls. So I was thinking, I was going to go dot and dab originally, but now I'm looking at going float and set, so full wet plaster.
Yeah.
And that seals, because the bricklayers, they haven't done a good job. I mean, over here it's probably, they've actually jointed this, that's fine. Loads of other places there's massive holes. So if I was to dot and dab it, you'd have to do obviously the full ribbons around the outside, etc. Yeah. And every plasterer you speak to, they say if it was my house, I would float and set it, even though it's more expensive.
You know you are going to get loads of, you want to put a little sign on there because you're definitely going to get
front door.
You're going to get people knocking on it.
No, I just put no entry on it.
Yeah, that's right.
This is my cart lodge. It's 3 bay. This it's supposed to be my garage. It's not at the moment because it's just storage. So I've put obviously some hoarding up at the front and whack them doors in. And then upstairs is like an office. It's our temporary home at the moment whilst we finish this.
It's quite handy, isn't it? Because most people end up in some grotty little caravan. So,
Oh, there's my caravan over there under the cover.
all right, okay.
So I was in that for many, many months.
That's kind of like a rite of passage, isn't it? You've
Yeah.
got to do the caravan stint.
It was horrible. But yeah, my other half, she didn't fancy living in the caravan.
Right,
So
okay.
I had to finish this first. But it's never quite finished, is it?
Probably going to be 2028 by the time you've done. Now you mentioned motorbikes. Now I know a lot of our viewers are quite into motorbikes. I know nothing about them, so just tell us what motorbikes you got going in there.
I've got a custom BMW R100 with a sidecar. I've also got an old 1953 Ariel VH500 Red Hunter. I've got a Yamaha FZ1, obviously a new sports type bike, and I've got an old DT360 Yamaha.
They all sound fantastic.
This is an oak front and Douglas fir is the rest. I had a little bit of help. It's a kit. I didn't mill the wood down or anything. No.
Well, it's still pretty good going though.
And then it's larch clad. It's not treated, so I've let it weather naturally. And on some of the, I called it the barn. It's not really a barn now, but that's going to have some larch cladding on us, just to replicate what used to be the asbestos cladding that I removed myself.
So what was the process for getting rid of the asbestos?
So you have to get the right skip from the right company that will be able to dispose of asbestos. So they normally charge up to a certain amount. So for mine, they charge me for the first ton, regardless, plus the skip. And so they kind of like do the notification. You have to wrap it in DPM twice, so it needs to be wrapped twice. And then you obviously wear the appropriate PPE.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. So you have to go full on hazmat?
Pretty much, yeah. And then you have to chuck all of that stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
But because the asbestos is encapsulated in the actual cement, it's relatively safe. You just don't want to break it, basically.
Yeah,
But
right.
I damped it down with PVA and water, first of all, just to enclose any fibres.
Yeah.
And you need to wear a P3 respirator.
Yeah, we had that recently with Sam. I thought I had asbestos, so he spent half an hour getting all the gear on, only to discover it was a bit of hardboard. But it's best that way round, isn't it?
Yeah.
Be prepared.
But what you should do, you should always just test it first of all.
Yeah.
So there's loads of kits online. I think they're probably only about 40 quid. And you just break a little bit off and you send it off to a lab. So I've got my table saw there and a planer thicknesser. That's what I'll use to make my kitchen one day. So I've got the professional tools.
Yeah. One of the best things about this project, you're obviously enjoying it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, once they're into it, they may have regretted it and think, oh no, it looks like you're enjoying every moment of it. And when you get frustrated, you just take it out on this punch bag here.
That's not mine. I've never used it. It can get overwhelming, the amount of stuff that you need to do, but you just need to break it down into small chunks. And like people, they message me and they say that this is like the dream kind of thing, and they're not as advanced as I am, but realistically I'm the same as them. The last thing I done was my extension and my loft conversion, and I've never done anything like that ever. Do you want to have a look in here quickly?
Yeah, okay. I know your partner doesn't want to be filmed, so you'll have to hide her from me. Sounds dodgy. Aiden, who's this?
This is Arthur,
also
yeah, known as Monkey Boy. He's our little friendship.
Yeah, I noticed him on your channel.
Site supervisor.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's technically the office. It does have a shower room down the end. It's almost like, when I built it, it's kind of like exactly the same as a loft conversion. I've splayed my Veluxes. I have the only YouTube video showing exactly how to do that. So no one else has done it, not even Robin. This is a temporary sink. I will be making one a bit more special later on. I want to do like a micro cement top.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done a bit with micro cement. It works. It looks really nice.
I want to try that out. And my shower tray hasn't cracked.
It hasn't cracked yet.
That's solid. Here I wasn't meant to be spending any money, so I just done the cheapest of everything. Because it's self-build, I can reclaim the VAT, but I can't reclaim the VAT for this. It's only the main house and the garage, which is downstairs.
Right. Okay.
So the overall building I can reclaim the VAT. So I've got 2 containers, a bigger green one. I'll turn that into a gym. I got it just before the prices went up. $16.50 for the green one.
Yeah.
So that's a high top one, but you can see it's slightly higher.
Yeah.
And then the red one was 1,200 quid.
Oh, he's coming with us.
He doesn't really like the field because I've got too many thistles.
You got the ride on.
Yeah.
So everyone keeps telling me, oh, you got to get a ride on. It's like, I like the exercise. I like pushing it.
I kind of need a tractor for this. That's how big it is. I'll show you my dumper. People love this.
Oh, blimey.
This is like a wind-up one. You have to wind it up to start it. I think it's from like the 60s. I paid 850 quid for this. I really want a digger though.
You want your own digger?
I want my own digger. I bought a plant trailer in anticipation of buying a digger, and I did buy a big Land Rover to tow it as well. So that's the farm truck. Just here's my borehole. This was 20 meters deep. Well, I paid for a 20-meter drill. They found water and stopped at 18 meters deep. I've got about 3 to 4 meters of head in there. So the pump obviously sits below this plate. We had to go for the borehole. We're not on any mains water around here. You can look on a website called the Geology of Britain, which they have borehole scans, so you have to have certain depths. Lucky enough, both my neighbours, they've got hand dug wells. They're like older properties.
Yeah.
So we knew that the depth of the borehole, it didn't have to be that deep. So you can get a smaller rig in or a bigger rig. We got the smaller rig. They done a dry drill. That would have cost about 2.5 grand just to see if there was water there, basically. If not, up to 80 meters where they guarantee that they're going to hit water, is about 20 grand.
When you said borehole, I was thinking that you had gone for ground source heat pump. It was right, okay, so it's just purely
just
for
water.
Just for water, gotcha.
I'm going to have an air source heat pump.
So,
I was going to go ground source because we got the space for it, but after the amount of mud and digging, I just had enough of it. But I'll show you the filtration system for the borehole. Oh, this is one of the first things I built as well. That's the buffer tank, so that creates like the pressure.
Yeah.
So that it goes through that first, and then I've got 3 more tanks, and then another filter, and then the UV, like the.
Oh, okay.
These are like £1,000 each. Craziness.
It is.
But I don't get any water bills.
Ah, of course. Really, water is now the only bill that we get, which is still reasonable. I think it's something like 60 quid a month where we are. But I can imagine at some stage that may well change. So if you've got your own, that's fantastic.
So yeah, on the back of the cart lodge, I've done the in-roof solar panels. So
Oh,
they
that's
sit
nice,
below
yeah.
the tiles. So I've got the ones that look nice, but we never see them. Normally you save money by not buying as many tiles, but
Right,
I'd already bought the tiles, so I didn't really save anything. But we haven't got battery storage yet. So normally when you do your permitted development, you only have a small curtilage where the property is, so that's basically your back garden. When I applied for full planning, I got the top part of the field within the curtilage, so in line with the shed there, straight across, I've got this within the curtilage. That means that I can use it as my back garden, basically. So as soon as I'm finished, they didn't remove my permitted development rights. That was one of the things that they normally do that they didn't for me, lucky enough. So I can put lots of sheds everywhere.
How many sheds do you want or need?
5? I want to do one of them big Victorian greenhouses.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. And just there, I want to build like a cabin just for me.
Just for you?
Yeah. I've got a roll top bath just over there. So I might just put that in now. I'm going to feed it off of a log burner and stuff.
So you just be sat in your bath.
Yeah.
The room
Looking down the valley.
Yeah, looking down there.
I kept the old windows from the barn because they're steel. I'm going to weld them all together and then I'll have that as a glazed end on my cabin. And I might build a natural swimming pool there as well.
Why not?
Yeah.
Go for the whole lot. We've had a few companies get in touch with us that do sauna room kits. That could be another thing add there, the sauna. You could open a spa.
Exactly, yeah. I just can't build on more than 50% of it. But I want to keep this anyway. And then I've still got the agricultural bit there. I might get some goats and pigs, definitely get some chickens. So
You're spending money like a Russian in Harrods. Can I ask how you're funding all of this?
savings.
Savings, well, that's good. That's a very old-fashioned concept, isn't it, nowadays? Savings.
Yeah,
It'd
I mean,
be
it's
more
just-
likely to be credit cards.
Just property and a well-paid job,
Right, okay,
but not for me,
right,
because my job is building this,
yeah.
but my partner, she does quite well.
I can see you're set up with Starlink. How are you finding like the reliability and the speed of that?
It's brilliant. I haven't had any problems whatsoever. I didn't put the sandbags on the stand originally. I thought it'd be okay, and then it got quite windy and it got blown off. So it fell down the side of the container and it still works.
So what sort of speed? You done a speed test on it?
It's over 100 download and it's about 20 for upload.
Okay, Aiden, well, thanks for showing us around. If we could ask all the Skill Builder viewers to go and subscribe to Aiden, and then you can follow his progress, see how he gets on. And as a final call to action, what's a good gateway video, one of your most popular videos? And I'll put a link to it at the end of the end of this video.
I wouldn't say it's the most popular, but it is one that I feel should be. My whole build video on the lodge. So I cut together everything. It's over 2 years, basically, all squashed into less than 7 minutes.
So that's your video, folks. Head over and check out that video. I'm hoping that next time Roger can come, because this is kind of like the Skill Builder summer break. Roger's gone away for a month in France. The rest of the guys are doing their own thing, which is why you've got me today. You got the... So yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to come back when you've made a bit more progress. Maybe we'll come with Sam and Roger, something like that. It'd be great to catch up with you again.
Thanks for watching. See you later.